Hello everyone and welcome in this new series dedicated to cybersecurity. In this first video, I will explain the anatomy of a hack and the different steps used by the bad actors to compromise your network. And before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to a concept you may have heard about, the kill chain. Originally, this term was used by the military. It is a chain of action where the ultimate goal is to destroy a target. It starts with identifying the target, then deliver a weapon to a target, and then attack it, and finally destroy it. Now, let me tell you something. There are many analogies with a real hack in this definition. And as a matter of fact, we also use the term kill chain when we discuss the different stages of an attack. Now, let me present you the big picture where the entire kill chain is represented. As you can see, we have a chain of actions where the goal is to command and control a target. It usually starts with footprinting. At this stage, the attacker doesn't know much about you, so they will basically browse and crawl the web to get more information. They will try to understand who's the target, what type of business are they running, where are the server located, what region, what countries, and eventually what is the domain name of the company and what are the public IP address used by this company. Then eventually, they will find an entry point, like one or several public IP addresses facing a firewall. The firewall itself is a protection for servers and hosts. However, we all know that some of those machines, like web and mail server, are reachable from the internet via those public IP. So the attacker will try to understand what service are they running, what port protocol are those services using, and what application are they dealing with. And at the end, they will have a very good idea of what's running on those servers facing the internet. Once they have an IP and a service, they will start the enumeration phase. So this one is a bit tricky because they need to find accurate information to get in. Like, who are the people working in this company? And then they will try to guess username and email. And maybe also to find an account password. How? Well, they can for instance check on social media who's working in the company. Then try to identify email address or account ID by guessing username. And once they have this information, they can attempt a dictionary attack to find weak passwords. And then eventually, they will have an access to one of the machines using credentials from the enumeration and the IP and service from the scan. At this stage, the attacker is in. He probably have very limited privilege, but he's in. Now, you may think this is probably a lot of work and a bit of luck to get to this stage. And you are not totally wrong. There is a much quicker way to get this first access. Via the delivery of a malicious code. This can happen for a couple of reasons. Maybe the attacker was not successful with the previous step, and he started to think, hey, you know what? Let's send a malicious program directly to those guys via email. It's gonna be much quicker and much easier for me to get an access. This can be done if the attacker can convince someone in the company to execute a file that will give him this remote access. Often, this is done using a malicious code hidden in a document, like an Excel macro, or better, exploiting a vulnerability in a client software. The attacker will use email, or a fake website, or a USB key for the delivery. But at the end, the goal is always the same, getting a basic remote access. And this ends part 1 of the anatomy of a hack. I hope you enjoy it and please join me for part 2 in order to understand the final stage of those attacks.